Now it's official. We start this recording, Ljubomir, then we're starting telepathically. I want to make sure that you have and let me know you have a clear understanding of what telepathy
Yes,
is.
I I do, yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think you know. That's why we're gonna do the secondary implant stuff first, and I'll tell you why. Because that will reveal to you three other lives, which I don't do much anymore, just not enough time. But those are lives you lived out in the universe as a Galactic Alliance person from other worlds with much more advanced human body that lives a lot longer than you have now. And those lives had no negative nature. They weren't in war. They didn't fight with reptilians. Little grays weren't around. They were lives that were contributive and constructive to the Galactic Alliance, which this world has yet to discover exists. Not even in the UFO and disclosure communities, extraterrestrial communities, they don't know about the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds or how it works or what it is. It's the bigger company, parent, behind all the little stuff that people have found out, bits and pieces, from whistleblowers over the years. I would like to say that 8 billion people are aware of this, but it's not true. Probably maybe 5 million, maybe 10 on the entire planet of 8 billion might be aware of disclosure and extraterrestrials. Everybody knows they're out there. Most people's belief systems keep them from ever exploring such things while they're alive running a body on Earth because they're not taught to growing up. The religions don't put it out, governments don't. So they don't learn how to use their higher faculties. They just stay dormant. The body lives, it goes, it wears out, and they're gone. And then their fears drive them into seek another body, and they just go round and round and round. So no one has ever died like you. You've never died. You've lost millions of bodies and millions of situations over billions of years out in that grand multidimensional creation where we come from. No one on Earth originated here. I wish I weren't the only one sharing this telepathically and truthfully with people on Earth, but that's my job. You okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
It's my job. What I'm sharing with you now is not information, it's telepathic. As I share it with you, you won't forget it ever again. That's waking up permanently. So the secondary implants are torture, death, and fear and intimidation and all that stuff. But they aren't your experiences. They're artificial. They kind of get in front of and hold in place what's called a primary implant. We'll do that another journey. We'll do a primary implant review. It's not removal. The primary implant, which is how you were killed and brought and stuffed in a body on Earth without your permission or consent, which happened to everybody on this planet over a long period of time, 500,000 years really. That kind of history is why people are so terrified to remember who they are. They didn't have a choice. If you go back far enough in galactic history, if you go back far enough into the grand multidimensional creation, where we came from before the lower worlds of time and space were built, then we begin to understand we are responsible for the condition of this planet. Each one of us. Not just us, but even the Galactic Alliance beings, master teachers, we're all in this together. So if we want to change the way the world is and wake people up, it has to come from a larger, massive number of beings willing to intervene in this planet for our own good. It has nothing to do with invasions, has nothing to do with taking over governments or forcing their will on anyone. The tyrants are the only ones who do that. But it does have to do with helping people remember their responsible nature as a co-creator with the source behind all life. And that's a pretty lofty destiny if you think about it. We're supposed to be co-creators with the source behind all life. Yeah, that's why we exist. That's the real reason. People aren't taught that on Earth, so they don't know it. But they once did, long ago. So recovering higher faculties and what we were made to forget when we're put in a body here and made unconscious and all that. This is not the will of some supreme being somewhere, some guy on a throne with a big tyrant king, ruler over the whole galaxies or any of that. That was made up by tyrant kings on Earth running tyrant religious leaders to keep people controlled, to keep them under someone else's control. And that kind of, let's say, technology was not invented on this planet. It did not originate here. Rome didn't originate it. The Mayans sacrificing people didn't originate it. Little gray abductions and reptilians and Pashats and tall whites and all these other races didn't originate it. But all of us did. So right away, we're starting off on this journey with the understanding that you come from a place far above what the Buddhists call the void. And in those worlds, in the void and higher, there is no negative nature whatsoever, never has been. The spherical Atma we are, as you know, Ljubomir, when you see this book, can you see it?
Yes.
That is what we look like. This is what people call soul, and they get it mixed up and they think this is a soul or something is, it's all abstract to them. You know, they believe in stuff. They're taught to give money to the church or the synagogue or whatever and believe in something, but never know it. Because if you know it, you don't do that anymore. And that means you're not against anyone or putting anyone down. It just means you walk away. You step into a higher reality. You no longer need that kind of prop to support you. And that takes courage. Because the innate courage we carry as a being, it cannot be suppressed by being eaten alive or implanted or subconscious brainwashing. Still, all of us have the mastery over the lower forms of anything in the worlds of time and space. Good and evil is a good example. When you get from the void, which is a pure energy of the hue, the first sound behind creation, it's omnipresent, living, conscious power. It is not a single being. It's not an individual. We are, and we're comprised of exactly the same energy. When you look out in space and you see all that black area up there that all these stars and galaxies float in, to the Atma out of body, which you'll see, it looks like a white golden light, kind of like this up in here, or that up in there. Because the Atma is spherical, has all these faculties and levels and can perceive what it is. It is not limited by the limits of physical eyes on Earth, which can only see a very small spectrum of light. So it appears black or dark blue, or very almost black. In reality, the most advanced classified sciences on Earth today, quantum physicists and astrophysicists and the like, understand that what they used to call dark matter is not dark. They don't refer to it that way anymore. It's actually a powerful singular energy that's behind all matter, all planets, all galaxies. It is vastly larger than all the little galaxies that float in it. They create electromagnetic fields, what's called a toroidal field. It's made of the hue that comes out the south pole of a galaxy, goes in the north pole. It surrounds the entire galaxy. The same field surrounds the Earth, looks identical to the field that surrounds your body, from the top of the spine to the bottom, and the one that surrounds you is the Atma hovering above that body right now. You're the being hovering above the body. You're not the body. Because you're running that body. Pretty clever that you can run something as complex as a two-stranded DNA biological nervous system and not even know how you're doing it. Something wrong with that. Something's not right there. How can we run something unconsciously that complex and not know it? That's your 8 billion people on Earth right now. But those 8 billion people do not represent what's outside of this planet, not even close. So disclosure has to do with changes like you can't even imagine. It wouldn't matter what religious religion you're in or how radical or fanatical you are. The religions that are on this planet are not represented anywhere out in the greater God, out in space, on any world, anywhere, in any dimension. They only exist on this Earth. Once people understand this, they begin to take their faith and belief and leap beyond it, which you're doing, into direct knowing. We are capable of knowing what the source behind all life knows on a smaller scale. Like we're a drop in a big ocean. It's like one of those stars is like us, and it's floating in this huge field of energy. That is what and who we really are. So you do not remember it now because secondary implants and the primary implant that puts you here are only recent diabolical things that are put in your path, in your way, in galactic history. The real memory of all your lives and all the planes and the bodies you're running comes about on the long distance journeys we do. Partially, we're going to be doing that today. Not just secondary implant reviews. We got to get you ready for the primary implant review. That takes the courage to see how you were killed, tortured to death. The positive, constructive side of that is it then becomes a memory. It's not subconscious. It can't affect your nervous system anymore. Your IQ and your intelligence goes way up. So when we're done reviewing these lifetimes today, the brilliance of those lives you had as a scientist in all three comes to, you begin to filter that down to your life on Earth, and you start to remember consciously the ability to comprehend the multidimensional nature of ourselves, which is a multidimensional capable being, and the multidimensional nature of creation. We begin to just understand it. You won't at first, but then one of these days you go on a journey, day or two later, a week, and you just know. And you never forget after that, because the first sound behind creation, the omnipresent you, derived from the first half of the word human, which is not native to the planet, makes a connection when you sound it out, even imagine it without making your vocal cords. It opens a doorway in the pineal gland, the center of your brain. And it makes a link more conscious to what you are as an Atma that is unconsciously running the body. Because when we go on this journey, you will be above that body consciously with me, with the telepathic voice and the beings I work with, so that you can begin to become conscious. So when you go to bed at night and you put the body in the trance state called sleep, what you're doing is causing the pineal gland to secrete serotonin, which makes melatonin, which puts the body on automatic while you split. That is what everyone does. They don't know how they're running their body consciously, so why should they know where they go out of their body every night? If you aren't brought up on a planet being taught this and shown how to use it, why would you do it? Well, you wouldn't. The people around you will not reinforce that. They're too in fear. They will do just the opposite and try to keep you from ever doing something like this. Your religious leaders want money. They want that coin. That's it. They're not telling anybody the truth. They are hypocrites. They're, how do I say it? I don't want to say that. Let's cancel that. No, because there are good people in religions too. Good-hearted people. No, I don't want to say that. I don't want to be abusive to anyone. And so I'm not putting down religions. I'm just saying that they stop short of giving people the experience they need to know. They're not designed to do that. At least not yet. At least I don't know of any guru on earth from India or anywhere else that even begins to touch what is shared in this journey with you. They don't even touch it. They don't know it yet. They should. So you and I are old friends. I recognize you from the Galactic Alliance and several lives I've had out there. From Nerexlum, actually. How the hell did you get stuck on Earth? I know I did. Coming here as a diplomat back in 50-something. You know, and caught and killed. It's a long story. It's in the Saber's Agenda book, how that happened. But my story is not unique. It happened to everybody on this planet. That's why they don't remember anything. The only thing keeping them from knowing is some kind of fear they don't know they have. Well, I should say they know they have it, they just don't know how to access it. They don't know where it is. They don't know what to do about it. And they think they can solve this as a brain and body and personality on Earth. That's impossible. Brains and bodies in one lifetime on Earth don't have the awareness or capability to change consciousness. It is the Atma that changes the consciousness and then brings that down through the physical body and changes that consciousness. So we have to go out into the greater universe, the greater God, grab enlightenment without fear of getting in the way, and bring it back to Earth. And that's what we're about to do. You okay with that?
I'm okay.
You're bridged.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I can tell. This is good. I was a little concerned, I always am, for the welfare of beings that send money to me or something. I want to make sure this is far more than worth the $400 that you sent, because that's more done for your benefit so that you contribute something to your own awakening. And on these journeys, you co-creatively, as you wake up, contribute to master teachers that help you take the next step. They will help you, but only when they know that what they give you, you will keep permanently. That's how they really work. They don't waste their time on people. They get people up to a point where they think they'll keep going and really benefit and change, because the whole point is really changing your consciousness, not just sitting around believing in something. What good does that do? Belief is great. Faith is okay. It gives people something to live for, makes them feel somewhat secure. But they don't know any more than the body they grew up with. That's not right. There's something very wrong about that on this planet. So I would say the wolves in sheep's clothing are not only religious leaders, some of them, but political leaders as well, who come from those religious backgrounds. Now, I say this not to ridicule or demean any religion or belief, but those should be constructive, uplifting systems that work together, and they don't on this planet, not yet. Governments don't either. They just pretend to kind of get along. That isn't what we're supposed to be doing. We are meant to be trustworthy custodians and caretakers of this planet and other worlds. It was our original assignment. Obviously, all the people on Earth and out in the galaxy failed to fulfill that destiny, that purpose. They got stuck, they got trapped, they forgot. Now that whole process is being reversed. From the realities above the void down through all of the multidimensional creation. One of the things we'll get into, with your permission at some point, is you need to know what your astral, causal, mental, and etheric bodies are doing on different dimensions where the molecular time rate is different than here, stacked on top of each other. And you're running bodies in each of those planes plus the one you're running here right now. So people, you've heard of in occult circles, esoteric circles, metaphysical circles, that people kind of pray to or ask their higher selves for help. The fact is, most people's higher selves don't give a hoot about you down here. They're selfish. They're just as trapped in those planes below the void as you are. Etheric, mental, causal, astral, which all emotion comes from the astral plane. Matter in the astral dimension, which is above the physical universe. There's a barrier between the top of the physical universe and the astral, like the void, between major divisions within the lower worlds of time and space. Astral is emotion. Matter and energy and things are moved by feeling in that plane. That's where all your emotion comes from. Causal is about cause and effect and understanding relationships. When you put something out, it comes back to you. Good or bad. Mental is instantaneous thought and imagination to get you from point A to point B, or to manifest things. Beings make a lot of mistakes in that fourth heaven up. You call it a heaven. I don't. Because there's tyrants there too. People pray to them all the time. Then there's the etheric plane, and your body is transparent. It's not really even physical matter. It's not DNA. It's more of the primary hue that comprises a physical projection that the atma is running, and it lives for millions of years. They're not the same. And it's more of a training facility to help you make the leap across the void into back to the other worlds above, the realities above it. Now, a lot of beings in the etheric plane just stuck there, your higher selves. So when you start waking up here, Ljubomir, it doesn't matter. There's an old principle, as above, so below. Well, it also works the other way, as below, so above. They're connected. So as you wake up here, you're waking up those other so-called higher selves to get awake and start helping each other, be aware of each other and of you down here on Earth. That is just beginning. Very few beings in history have ever had their higher selves all working together in harmony. It's just... There was an experiment, we called the experiment of good and evil. When the energy from the void splits into two channels, it's still the one power. behind it, but it splits into apparently two powers, positive and negative. They create things in the lower worlds between those two poles. We aren't meant to imagine individually and get caught in the lower worlds so that we imagine negative stuff and we imagine good stuff. Because the omnipresent power will fund and support and back and manifest both. So if you think about people on Earth, they're predominantly more negative than positive. They have more fear about the present and future, even religiously, than the opposite. So their lives are kind of trapped here. Their energy gets grounded into the earth because they're putting out energies in two opposing forces. What we're doing on these journeys, Ljubomir, is taking this opposing force and doing this. Yin and yang. Two teardrops circling around each other with a third energy encapsulating them. Then we manifest things, constructive and uplifting only, that has no repercussions in time and space. It does not come back to us. We want to run energy of what we are that has no negative nature from the core of our being, the Atma, into our imaginative field. We discover on these journeys how to stop thinking in opposing ways, good and bad. Whenever we feel fear of the present and future, we can go into the hue and it'll shut it off. And then we can choose to imagine without that influence. This is what we're doing. It's very big stuff. So true disclosure isn't just about telling people there's life on other worlds coming here millions of years more advanced than us, billions in some case. They're there. Just look at the galaxies, look at the stars. This is just one star, one planet in all of that, just in the physical universe. And most of it is far more advanced than us on Earth. The thing of it is, every one of us originally came from there. We were those advanced races. Now you find yourself on Earth with no memory. What the hell went wrong? How did that happen? Well, you've been asking these questions for some time. So you're creating crossing paths with me. I've just put this, made it possible to be accessed out in the world. When people are ready, they find it. They create it. You co-created this. And I just am there. So we understand that, right?
Yes.
As we go into this, your body's going to go into the trance state called sleep. Just like you put it to bed every night, same process exactly. No different. Except we work on getting the imagination focused outside of Earth's limited atmosphere, which is mostly negative. We get it out into that universe where the omnipresent living power, people used to call dark matter. They found out that it's an energy that has no molecules, no atoms. It is not DNA. It's not stars or planets or suns that float in it. It's something that is not made of any of that and does not follow the laws of physics at all. That energy, which is predominantly what's out in the universe, is telepathic in nature. We can communicate with it. We can plug into it. We can travel in it because it has no limits like the speed of light. And in reality, outside of Earth, if they measured light from outside of Earth, they would have discovered it has no limitation. There's no limits to the speed of light. It is one fluid energy moving through all these different levels. So they label these different levels infrared and ultraviolet and X-ray. It's one energy. All operating on different molecular time rates within specific planes, created this way on purpose, held in place this way throughout the multiverse by what beings called silent mentors. We'll meet a couple of those. Silent mentors are the mechanics of creation. They actually hold all that together. Actually, planets going around suns, around other suns, around galaxies, and all working together on all the levels. They don't have time to mix it up like a guru or a teacher with individual atmas to train them. That's not their purpose. So we go on these journeys above the void to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy, which is built in a special parallel dimension between the top of the Atma plane, first major realm above the void, not in it, and the sixth plane. And it is called the Hue Expansionary Academy. It is where we can mix things up with master teachers and silent mentors, but only there. They don't mix it up with us down here. We're not anywhere near evolved enough to cross paths with them. So there is a place where we can do that. And it's very advantageous because then we can bring that pure positive, no negative influence awareness back to Earth and run it through our physical form. It changes us permanently. It's not reversible. When you get to a point where, and you're an ancient being, but when you get to the point where you cross paths with the first sound behind creation and know it, like you're doing on Earth right now, it begins to have a different relationship with you. The omnipresent power becomes a master teacher through all the beings that are consciously aware working with it. And we begin to have access to them. We need to become trustworthy co-creators with Source, not a bunch of bumbling fools that pray to something and don't know what to do, because they'll take their unconsciousness into what's called heaven and destroy it. They have no discipline. They're like children. They're not willing to take on the responsibility that they're supposed to be a co-creator with Source, not a worshiper of it, putting it on a pedestal. So far removed from them, they can never reach it. Their misuse of their imaginations is keeping this distance. Because we're not meant to worship the Source behind all life. We're meant to go to it, know it, experience it, and respect it, and ourselves and each other. That's the true formula. Divine love is respect for all life. To do that, we have to know what life is that's not just on planet Earth. Duh, of course. See, of course. So obviously, when this begins to wake up in you, as it's doing now, you'll never forget it. Take several deep breaths, Ljubomir, and relax. Close your eyes. Trust yourself. Trust in the eternal being you are. That is not your body, never was. Understand that you are a spherically shaped energy being that has no place in time and space, that operates within the hue which is behind it, and that you've had billions of lives on many levels, and even if you don't remember them, they're still there, recorded in the teardrops of the Atma. Nothing's lost, nothing's destroyed. The reason for this is simple. Nothing of the lower worlds of time and space, tyrants, technology, misuse of power, can be programmed like an implant in the Atma itself. So tyrants threaten and kill a body and torture it, and then use a heavy electromagnetic field to surround or place programs in the electromagnetic field, toroidal field, that surrounds the outside of the Atma, through which you see the universe distorted, subconsciously fear-driven distortion. Then you try to remember who you are. And this thing turns on, plays on your nervous system, and you get distracted and you can't concentrate, and it takes you in another direction. That's how implants work. Tyrants have misused energy to do this in galactic history. This is not being done anymore, period, anywhere in the Milky Way galaxy. It is over, it is ended, kaput, done, complete, retired, gone. There are no reptilians on bases underground and classified government on this planet anymore. There are no Greys abducting people anymore. All of that was stopped more than 25 years ago. And people on Earth have to catch up and find this out. The people on Earth are left with these subconscious problems, but there's no tyrants here manipulating that anymore. What they did has to be undone. And what was done to you before you were even born here. So how are you going to solve that from knowing what you've learned on Earth? You can't. Okay. You got something there? You okay? Oh, you're going to get more comfortable. Just don't go to sleep on me. Okay. I'm going to send out the hue 5 times. This is done on higher tone levels to help you connect through the planes to the void and into the Atma plane. It's like creating a portal between here and there. Now I will turn off your mic if you can keep quiet or just be relaxed. We get a better recording quality that way, but I'm going to leave yours on.
Okay.
begin those tones. Do them with me, silently inside. You don't have to do it out loud. And we'll go from there. Have you watched any of the videos that talk about Shantial, Tonaltial, are a couple, and Dantiam and Lamtiam? Do you know who they are?
No.
Okay, see, that's because you haven't done your homework and watching some of these videos, or you would know. But anyway, I'm going to describe them for you. These are human beings. They have human bodies, in other words, but they aren't stuck in them. They can get out of them at will, and they're taught this from birth, not on Earth. So they drive spaceships around the universe. But they also get out of their bodies and project well ahead of a craft to see where they're going before the craft gets there. That's telepathic. So the running of craft that travel between the 144 parallel dimensions of the physical universe before you even get to the astral plane. They have access to all those levels and the planets in all of them. That's why in the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds, located on a planet called Zetronomy 1 near the galactic core of this galaxy, there are more than 415 million spacefaring races in the millions that make up that organization. That's just a little under half of our galaxy. Now, Shantiel and Tonaltiel are from beyond, back further beyond what you'd call the Pleiades, and they are Galactic Alliance personnel. They appear to be 35 to 38 years of age, but they're many, many hundreds of years old compared to an Earth person. They simply have mastery over the four-stranded DNA. Switches or genomes on DNA are simply switches controlled by precise sound frequencies. Those sound frequencies are derivatives of the first primordial sound. And when you understand this science, you turn off or on these genomes at will. Fix a broken organ. Regrow an arm. Turn on a switch that does so your body doesn't age when cells divide. Currently, the DNA on human DNA on Earth, which has been quite perverted or manipulated, some of the genomes turned off deliberately. Well, those are switches. One of them determines age, and if you turn it on properly, your body does not age when the telomere at each end of the DNA shrinks every time cells divide. That is a manipulation. They're not supposed to do that. And we aren't supposed to be trapped in the illusion that we're bodies. Those are machines. Very advanced machine, biological, but just a machine from a higher perspective, if you think about it. Machines, bodies, do not have ignition switches and batteries like a car. But it's the Atma that turns on that body through the pineal gland and runs it. Through an energy, it connects to it. So a body can't run itself. There's no storage facility in a body to run itself. It's the first thing we learn. So Shantial has long blonde hair and robin's egg blue eyes, slightly larger than Earth human. His consort, his mate, Tonaltial, has long brunette hair and emerald green eyes, also slightly larger than Earth human eyes. They're very experienced, well-trained technicians among other beneficial disciplines that remove what are called secondary implants So the real person, the Atma, can begin to gain mastery over what is called the primary implant. The journeys, which I'll be taking you on, the long distance journeys that don't have to do with implant removal, help a person recover those higher faculties that have been turned off or shut down over billions of years and long forgotten. It doesn't have to do with implants. This is personal choices we made in our ignorance of playing with bodies in the lower worlds over a great period of time. Dantiam and Lamtiam Nubble couple, Ball from the Galactic Alliance, personnel, but they are master teachers. Dantiam appears to be about the same age as she does, as the other couple. He has golden colored eyes, not brown hair, and she has ruby red eyes that are slightly larger than Earth human eyes, and yellow red hair. Chantal and Tonatiel, Dantiam and Lamtiam, the first Galactic Alliance couple I've introduced to people in this world that actually remove secondary implants. I can do it. I've done it. But I don't do it because I have a body on Earth in its negatively impacted atmosphere. So I leave the actual removal up to these people who, number one, do not have subconscious minds. None. They have no implants, no negative subconscious drives. They didn't grow up on Earth. They're way more evolved than any belief system that's on the planet. So they can be of great benefit to you. And their purpose for being around you today is so they keep turned off any subconscious negative programs or implants or fears you may have, so you can take this journey without those being working against you. This is what they do. So when you imagine going to the store, you're using the imagination, but that does not get created in the physical brain and the skull of a body. There's no camera in there amongst brain cells that can project an image on another bunch of brain cells. It's silly. That doesn't happen. So Earth people are not evolved enough yet or awake enough yet to understand that the brain is not the source of any of their ability to imagine anything. That's coming from the Atma that's running the body, from the white core at the center of it, made of source energy. When you imagine going to the store, it's the Atma running the body unconsciously that sees the store, and then your body follows. When we put the body into the trance state called sleep, which yours is in now, even if you hear sounds outside, it doesn't matter. This is the same thing you easily do without effort every night. The telepathic nature of this work keeps you focused and awake while you're going on this out-of-body experience. Out-of-body is what you really are, because you've never been one. So we might as well get used to waking up what we are. Now, if you imagine hovering near the ceiling where you live in Austria, all you're doing is looking down on your body. You're just imagining it. Imagination is the ability to see into the multidimensional nature of the universe and ourselves. It is not fantasy. There are two types of imagination. One where we indulge in something, mock it up, imagine something for ourselves. That's just self-centered, and that's okay. It's not bad or good. The other form of imagination is when we start to co-create consciously in wonderful, beneficial ways for all life, not just our own, not just for people on Earth. And that's how the imagination works in these two ways. One is the right way, or the better way. Another one's not wrong. It's just we entertain ourselves with the fantasy imagination. When we're done playing with those toys, we should be responsibly putting them away. Going back into the pure imagination, which works in co-creating with the source behind all life. And that's it. Now you know the truth. So you're hovering near the ceiling, and there are two beings. You are a spherical being. And to each side of you is hovering a masculine and a feminine Atma. That's right, they are like that. By choice from the very beginning. Predominantly one or the other. And they have projecting out in front of them a physical appearing body about 6 feet tall, This is Chantiel and Tonatiel. They're wearing a slim, form-fitting, single-piece blue-gray uniform they slip into, including the footwear. It has a Galactic Alliance symbol on the right chest, which looks like a silver golden galaxy with a four-sided pyramid with a quartz cap hovering above the bulge of the nucleus of the galaxy, and three blue stars in triangular position, cobalt blue, above the apex of the pyramid. There's a reason for that symbol, and for the three stars, and for the pyramid. So they are showing you a body form that looks human, but it isn't made of DNA or matter. It's a projection. And you are showing them the same body, about 36 years of age. If you're a male, perfectly handsome. Both this man and woman show you a form about 36, flawless, perfectly handsome, perfectly beautiful. This is a primordial form we show to each other when we meet out of body. And when the fears are turned off in your subconscious, you're able to do this instantly. You perceive that this form is your real prototype that could be superimposed over your body on Earth or any body. And to do that, to immortalize a body anywhere outside of Earth, it requires that we do it for a specifically good purpose, not just for selfish reasons. First of all, a being has to be consciously aware of themselves as the Atma running a body to immortalize a body, or it becomes a prison. For people on Earth, most bodies are prisons. Not really, but they appear to be that way because people don't remember they're not a body. So you're near the ceiling, and you can see that this couple, very kind, are simply doing their job. They know how to turn off your subconscious mind for now. The same couple that is around you is going to be removing your secondary implants, Ljubomir. You can see a pale shaft of white golden light coming down through your ceiling. Is passing through you as the Atma, through this physical appearing perfect form, and down through your body. There is a spherical energy radiating out the bottom of your spine and through the top of your head, whether you're laying down or sitting upright. It isn't a thin layer of colors like psychics think. It is like the one that surrounds the Earth, identical. There's a flash of light, brighter, that's coming down through the ceiling. And we find ourselves, and I'm with you, you're at 10,000 meters in the atmosphere, looking all the way down through the roof of where you live. And there you are, hovering near the ceiling, looking at your body. And you're also at 10,000 meters. You are in both places at the same moment. This is the multidimensional, capable nature of the Atma itself. Another flash of light finds us in space. Out in space, outside of Earth's atmosphere, in the omnipresent first sound that is space, that is visually apparent as a white golden light. It has a sound like gentle rumbling thunder, a deep humming sound, with no lightning. It's not frightening. The physical universe makes this universal sound, and we see it as a white golden light. We are in the omnipresent first sound, the hue, from the first half of the word human. Hue. This is how we connect to it. It's very simple. It was set up this way in the beginning, like a fail-safe. So in space, you're in a circle of beings. You're to my left, I'm to your right. I have a couple standing beside me too, Dantam and Lamtam, very similar. There are other beings in this circle with us, master teachers that go with us on this journey to the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. They teach there, they take shifts there. So these are law of economy stuff. We do practical journeys that involve many other beings that's good for all life and not just ourselves. Chantiel and Tonatiel know what they're doing. There is a craft, which we'll visit, located inside the ice rings made of ice that circle the planet Saturn. Scientists on Earth know that those rings are made of water, frozen water. How the hell did that get out there? But there it is. The whole ring about 1.5 miles thick of water, circling this big, vast gas giant. Go figure. Surprise, surprise. And in it is a mile-long cylindrical ship that you can see what it actually looks like on the front cover of the Sayre's agenda book. That is an Emerald Star Cruiser. Blue-gray metallic type of structure. Horizontal oval view windows around the middle equator of the ship. Slightly flattened top, cylindrical. Curved bridge control windows on one end and identical bridge control room on the other. It's designed to travel through interdimensional portals. Through space between dimensions from here back to Zetronomy 1 or anywhere else. It's one of the smaller ones. The larger ones are 10 miles long. I'm telling you this because we'll visit there. But first, there are other beings you need to meet. In the center of this circle of beings is what a being called Ambassador Turellian. He is a human Sayres from the Sayres race. His body form he's showing you is 18 feet tall. He was one of the shorter ones. They're 18 to 25 feet tall. They have 12-stranded DNA, not 2 like people on Earth. Chantal and Tomaltial, standing beside you, have 4-stranded DNA in the bodies they have on the Emerald Star Cruiser, sitting in a lounge chair, asleep. Basically, the bodies are on automatic with their heads dropped to their chests. And they have come here out of body, in space, as the Atma, the spherical being they are, to help you through this secondary implant removal process. I wish that these implants could be removed on Earth, but Earth's atmosphere, the water vapor in it, is charged with negative experiences. Water vapor, or H2O, has many secrets. It's a multidimensional computer, it's a telepathic medium, and it is basically depleted on Earth because 8 billion unconscious people are not doing their job. So basically, on normal worlds, oceans glow a foot above the calm waves. Waterfalls, lakes, all glow. And these worlds do not have people with subconscious minds. So when enough people wake up here, Earth's oceans will begin to light up. The world will be transformed. Here in space, Turellian is a huge spherical Atma being hovering above the body form he's showing you. It's a body he had over 1 billion years ago. The Sayres immortalized those bodies in a very unique way. They broke down the DNA, or basically just dematerialized the body, physical matter around the DNA, and stored the DNA pattern in one of the teardrops near the white core of their being. They're so evolved that when they want to mock up a body, they pull out that DNA, fill it with the hue and space surrounding it, and you could walk up and touch it. But it doesn't eat, it doesn't go to the bathroom, and they don't have to burden themselves with it. When they're done using it, they put it away. And all of this you know as we're standing around Turellian because he's telepathically in link with us. What he knows rubs off on us. He's simply showing us our potential. And he serves as the central focal point for these journeys because he cannot be influenced or used or manipulated by people on Earth or out in space. So he's a very stable central point. He has his 2 thumbs up with closed fists out in front of him. There's a brighter golden white light surrounding his fists, brighter than the hue in space around us. The purpose of this is to create an oval, transparent, luminous golden light around us like the hull of a spaceship. There is no negative nature in the void of space. That is the pure hue. And nothing negative can be recorded into it. But this field of energy is to give you a sense of comfort, and also it means that nothing of any negative nature from anywhere in the lower worlds of time and space, whether it's technological, weaponry, psychological, any of that, cannot affect us or approach us while we're working in the hue and space, because this has mastery over such things. So here you are looking at Turellian. Up above him is 2 other master teachers hovering in space, about 3 feet long from the cute tips of their snouts to their glowing tails. You will find Etta and his wife Din, Well, particularly Etta is illustrated in the Emerald Doorway book, so you can really see what he looks like. Cute as the dickens, courageous to a fault, silica-based DNA, not carbon. And they're hovering there with their tails glowing, standing upright on their feet with a thumb and 5 fingers and a big toe and little toes, like a human. Pale green, with a radiant tail glowing like crystal opal in bright sunlight. And 2 spherical atmas, who they really are, hovering above these forms. They actually have these bodies back on a planet called Oceanan. That is on the other side of the galaxy, in the third higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. And to my right is a master teacher named Opellum. He is Oceanan. He is 6 feet tall. He has pale blue skin, jet black hair to his shoulders, emerald green eyes, bigger than a human, slightly bigger, pointed ears like an elf. He's wearing a Galactic Alliance uniform, like Shantil and Tontil, standing or hovering beside you. Et and Din come from his world, mostly water-covered world, 4 times larger than Earth, with 3 moons the size of Earth orbiting it, and that planetary system orbits a trinary star system. Big sun in the center, usually a big hot white blue giant, big yellow sun bigger than ours, and maybe a smaller sun or a red dwarf. Most of the world's star systems outside of Earth are binary, meaning 2 suns that orbit each other, or 3. Earth is a single sun. It is in the minority. These effect of 3 suns on planetary systems where humans evolve has a much different effect. So those planets do not have polar ice caps. Their weather patterns are completely mastered. Oceans are calm. They don't have tidal waves or earthquakes or any of that nonsense. The only reason Earth has these is because the people on Earth are busy sending negative things into the mantle and causing it all themselves, consistently. And that has to come to an end. So in space, you're seeing these beings, and over to your left, towards the Earth in this orbit of beings, is a master teacher named Ramu. He has a maroon-colored robe on, simple belt, rope for a belt, simple sandals, swarthy colored, dark brown skin, coal black eyes, jet black, short-cropped black Baron hair, holding a crystal staff made of quartz. It has the Egyptian symbol for eternal life on top of it, which didn't originate in Egypt. It's a cross with a vertical oval hole, or an eye. And it is a device. It's his trademark. These masterful beings can help you at night when you're out of your body every night. Certainly Shantial and Tonalital and Dantiam and Lamtiam and others can do this. Don't think of them as extraterrestrials while you are so removed from them, because, as you'll find out on this journey, you were once one of them. So it's not so alien. The truth is, everybody on Earth is an extraterrestrial, because none of them, no race on Earth, evolved on Earth itself. That took place billions of years ago out in the galaxies. Humans are a very ancient race. And most human body forms are higher strands of DNA and much different than Earth people. There's a master teacher named Light C, little Chinese guy about 5'5". He's a maroon-colored robe with esoteric symbols on it. It's got a little rim-shaped hat, a Fu Manchu type beard, blue eyes, not like most Asian eyes. And he is a master teacher that has a body in the etheric plane only, none below it. He works there and above the void in the Hue Expansion Ray Academy. But he's here to add his wisdom, like these other masters, for your benefit and for the benefit of all life. That is why they're here. I cannot remove implants inside Earth's negative atmosphere, because everything ever done by people to plants to animals in history is recorded inside that atmosphere. It is not recorded out in space. That negative atmosphere and all that memory needs to be neutralized so that Earth's oceans can begin to radiate the hue like they're supposed to. cat that I had on Earth named Starlight, who translated 2 years ago, has been being trained by Etendin, who are Drens, silica-based beings who evolved with the ability to defy gravity as an organic species and fly inside the atmosphere of their planet. The master teacher of Opelum, who is wearing the Galactic Alliance uniform, was the founding sponsor of the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds 500,000 years ago. It was called the Galactic Alliance, but not Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds. That came later. The being who sponsored and encouraged this at that time was Ambassador Turellian, standing in the center of this circle. The sound around us is changing. It's becoming more of a high note of a flute. And if you look up above Et and Din, you're going to see, and light see, you're going to see another being standing in space. His name is Satnam. He's a being about 6 feet tall with bronze-colored skin, bald head, golden eyes not yellow, 2 gold bracelets on each of his upper arms, and a little white tunic dress from his waist down to his bare ankles. And above him is an hourglass-shaped, radiant golden white vortex slowly whirling clockwise. Around it is a blue-green energy like water moving clockwise. And up through this, you can see way at the other end of it, a brilliant, but what I call pale blue, cobalt blue atmosphere. So this vortex connects us from space outside of Earth through the lower planes of time and space, bypasses them, and connects to the void, and then higher. Now we're going to do a thing now where I'm going to send out the hue. You're in space, just standing there peacefully with Shantiel and Tonaltiel standing beside you. So you're getting a bit of a long distance journey here mixed with the secondary implant, which review and, well, actually removal. I'm going to send out the hue in higher tones so that you're going to watch, as you watch in this circle of beings, watch what happens above Satnam. You're going to see this energy conduit which they've created before the journey started, lighting up brighter because you and me and others are contributing to this. We're co-creating this portal between the lower world and the upper realities above the void, beyond the void. I'll begin those tones now. Shantiel and Tonaltiel standing beside the physical form that looks to be about 36, perfectly handsome, like they are male and female. And the Atmas you are, all three of you, hovering above these forms. They're turning you around to face out away from Turelian in space between the Earth and the Moon. First, you look at the Earth. You realize you can see the polar ice caps, the blue oceans, the landmass. You can see the Moon, barren, meteor crater, no atmosphere, orbiting the planet, not turning on its axis, which is wrong. The Earth's gravity and the gravitational fields of other planets and the sun should have it at least moving. It does not move at all. It's broken, and it needs to be repaired, and it will be. Then you see the sun in the distance. Everything around us is a white golden light. You can see all the billions of stars of our galaxy in all their colors, hovering in this other background golden white light, clearly standing out. And then Shantiel and Tonaltiel move this body form, which is like a physical body, has eyes, ears, taste, touch, smell, but it's not physical matter. So you can perceive objectively what's about to happen in the secondary implant removal process. You can see the Atma up ahead, up above you, hovering a distance out in space. That's you. They're moving you up to it. Now you look at this Atma. It has a kind of a violet outer layer, and then it has a white golden light around it. It has a white core and concentric circles of certain thickness of teardrop-shaped faculties, each color of the spectrum representing a different dimension. So we are multi-dimensional linked, but we are not made of the matter in the multi-dimensional creation. In this a field of energy that comes out the south pole of the spherical being you are, like the Earth, comes out the south pole, goes way around the outside, and comes in the north pole. The Milky Way galaxy has the same field around it. It is made of the omnipresent first sound. And it flows out of the pole to cause that form to hover in this other medium we call the hue, or the hue expansion ray, because it is changed. And out in this field of energy that surrounds you, in this electromagnetic field, are these three oval white spheres of light, connected by a white shaft of light in a triangular position outside the outside of the Atma. These are secondary implants. The reason, the way they're placed, it means that when you try to remember who you are, these are artificial constructs planted in the electromagnetic field through misuse of science, not in the Atma itself. So the Atma you are has never been implanted. It's never had any negative nature. You don't have any negative nature. You never have. And in them is contained a block over a lifetime that was randomly selected. And there's torture and death programs of just imaginable nastiness, but they're not your memories. And they turned on when you try to remember who you are, and then you get this subconscious adrenaline, fear running down the spine, and then you go get mindlessly entertained and move away from doing what is for your own good. This is how most people on Earth are today. The triangular pattern of these implants out in the electromagnetic field, there's one 2/3 of the way out in the field, off to our left, one to the right, and one on the other side out in space. They're connected by this shaft of white light. It's a kind of device. Shantiel and Tonaltiel are moving you up to the one on the left, 2/3 of the way out in the field, right up into the electromagnetic field. And they're bringing your face right up to this foot-wide oval white sphere. And with your permission, they're going to move that face, this projected energy form, so you can see and know what's happening, right inside it. Remember, they've already turned off these implants. The white shaft of light is dim. They're moving you inside this first secondary implant so you can experience the great wondrous life that is hidden behind the torture, which is artificial. You find yourself with them hovering beside you, moving through an atmosphere of a planet high above it. You're looking out into space. You are not near Earth. You are out nearer to the galactic core of one of the fourth spiral arm of the galaxy, away from where Earth is, which is 2/3 the way out of one of them. And you can see that there's a big planet in front of you. It does not have polar ice caps. It is about roughly 4 times, 5, 6 times bigger than Earth. And there are several continents centered over the equator. The atmosphere has a pale glow to it. It has a golden blue glow to it. It has 4 planetary systems the size of Earth orbiting this big planet, and those planets revolve around what is called a trinary star system. This one has a great big giant yellow sun, a little bright white yellow. And then it has a smaller blue, it's called a blue giant, younger sun orbiting it. And then it has a yellow one smaller orbiting that. And so you're now getting a perspective. So now suddenly you find yourself up above the Milky Way galaxy. I'm there too, Shantiel and Tonatiel and you. And you're looking down on the galaxy. And all you see around us is a white golden light as fast as you can see. And in the distance, you can see our nearest galactic neighbor called the Andromeda Galaxy. Those beings in that galaxy call that galaxy Cepharis, the distant wonder. The Galactic Alliance Council calls it Medulanta. But they have a relationship with each other, obviously. And you can see down in this fourth spiral arm, 2/3 the way in towards the galactic bulk of stars, you can see where this planet's located, and suddenly you're hovering above it. Then Shantiel and Tonatiel are moving you down inside the atmosphere of this planet, and as you pass through the molecules of water vapor, they're luminous. This is a normal world. You pass down through this atmosphere and you realize the sky blue, beautiful blue sky, has a glow of a pale golden light behind it. The ocean is glowing a foot above the surface of the ocean. We're moving towards a continent. And down on this continent, in the center of this continent, is a huge valley surrounded by snow-covered blue mountains. And there is a Galactic Alliance research facility here. And there are 3 geodesic domes clear, containing 3 golden-sided quartz-capped pyramids in a triangular pattern, and then a fountain in the center between them. The fountain has a golden pool of water about a foot deep. And there is a blue disc in between each one. And we find ourselves suddenly standing on this blue disc. And in the distance you can see forest, blue-green, luminous leaves. A mix of something like a giant blue fir tree. And there are birds coming out of these trees that come by and approach us and land on this disc, a male and a female. They're like 9 feet tall. They're very large, blue luminous feathers, big blue eyes, and they speak to you in your language, Galactic Standard. They have vocal cords. There's an Atma hovering above them. This is a research facility that studies and respects other forms of genetic life that Atmas run, not just human. And so your job as a scientist at this point with others who come here is to work in harmony with those beings and others that are on this planet as part of the Galactic Alliance. These are also spacefaring creatures. They have wings, but they have hands with digital fingers on them. You know, like, not digital, digits, thumb and fingers, feathers on them, and they can manipulate things. There's much higher forms of avians that can fly in the air, go on spaceships, and travel the stars. They prefer not to go out on missions to Earth and other places like other Galactic Alliance people. But you knew them. Back then, and this is a life 387,000 years ago, on a planet called Cyphronon. It was one of the Galactic Alliance world systems. This is long after a war that took place 500,000 years ago. You didn't have warfare in this life. You didn't grow up with an implant. You didn't grow up with a subconscious mind. You had a four-stranded human body. And you're standing there with Chantil and Tonto beside you, but now you're looking at the body you had in that life. And there's 6 other scientists, male and female, standing around you on that disc, and you're in the center of it. You're holding up your right hand. You're holding up a blue crystalline sphere, and it's projecting a holographic image in the atmosphere. And in this holographic image, you see a ray of light coming in from this fountain, scalloped blue stone edges, 15 feet wide. There's looks like a Christmas tree of light, a blue golden light coming down into it. There's a shaft of light coming down into it. And there's a beam entering the pyramids in each of the domes. These are research facilities. And one is entering you. It's entering this sphere, this device. And you're seeing a holographic projection of life all over this planet. Human, humanoid, many types of other animal-like beings, but not like on Earth. People don't eat them. They are respected fellow beings in the Galactic Alliance. And you are an advanced scientist. 388,000, something like that, years ago. Cyphronon, and you are, this planet, you are telepathically speaking with these avian people. And you're sharing with them the latest Galactic Alliance research into uncovering higher faculties of being. This was done consciously. That life you lived was over 8,000 years old before you chose to leave it, dematerialize it, and move on. Long time compared to an Earth person. Short time in the galaxy. And you find yourself in space. Chantil and Tontil are still beside you, coming out of this foot-wide oval sphere. Now you can see all this. Just trust yourself. Allow yourself to have it. And then you see Chantil and Tontil move their hands together from the outside of this oval sphere until it disintegrates into a white golden vapor and vanishes. Becomes part of the omnipresent you. We don't bother looking at the torture and terror in it because they weren't your experiences anyway. But the random life that was used to keep this wisdom of this life from you is now gone. And this is a conscious memory. It's just one part of that long life. You can go back to this experience and run it forwards or backwards. I recommend doing it in space. I recommend having some of the beings you've been introduced to go with you, especially Chantil and Tontil or other of their associates, so that you don't take fear with you to do it from Earth. They're moving you around the backside of this Atma in space and bringing your face up to the second secondary implant, foot-wide oval white light. And as they move you into it, you are on a ship. You find yourself standing on the bridge of a very large Galactic Alliance spaceship. And out in the window you can see the curved, lightly tinted blue glass observation portal at the front of this bridge control. You are on one of the 10-mile-long Galactic Alliance Emerald Star cruisers. The one stationed in the ice rings of Saturn is a mile-long one. And you happen to be the admiral of this ship at this time. You're wearing a Galactic Alliance uniform. There are personnel all around you, beautiful men and women, not all human. With many races, different hair colors and eye sizes, earlobes, but they're all wearing Galactic Alliance uniforms. You can see the Atma hovering above all of them because you are visiting this Admiral life fully conscious of the Atma that's hovering above it. This ship is heading into a cluster of bright, hot, young, blue-white stars, whole dozens of them. And you're simply there observing. There's a person sitting in a white leather-like chair around a semicircular curved console, half octagon shaped with crystalline luminous facets controls all over it. They're touch sensitive. And you've asked this technician to project a holographic view screen at a curve up above this console. And you can see that in this star group, there are numbers of world systems that are part of the Galactic Alliance. Binary sun systems, trinary sun systems, numbers of worlds and orbits around each system, all with life, very advanced, no polar ice caps. And you just know this. Because all Galactic Alliance personnel are cross-trained. Beings like you in that life all had photographic memories turned on and were telepathic and had vocal cords, of course. But in that life, you respected animals, highly evolved, what you would call animals on Earth, beings, human and others. No one there eats animals. Nobody carries refrigerators full of dead cow parts across the stars to get to Earth. Think about how absurd that is. So Earth people have much to change. I don't blame them for who they are or what they do now because they grew up this way. But it is not normal. As we're willing to change and remember who we are, old habits and ways of eating and doing things that are not beneficial for your awakening and awareness simply drop away. You don't have to effort it. You don't have to fight it. They just go away. This happened for me, so I can share with you telepathically as direct experience. Everything we're doing is from my direct experience and based only on it. I do not work with faith or belief at all. Only with direct experience. So you're on this ship. You have long black hair. You have emerald green eyes, jet black hair like Master Opellum. In fact, you're Oceanan, one of the first founding races in the Alliance. This race evolved with the ability to breathe underwater or on land. And you hold your hand up and you look at your webs and you're scratching. There's little webs between your fingers, long, beautiful fingers. You look to be about 40. You're actually 4,700 years old in this particular life. And you live to be 9,600. And you're out in space in a cluster of hot, white, blue young stars located nearer the galactic core, where stars are much closer together. So this is common for you. The people around you respect you. You do not look down to them. You are a respected admiral. You have co-commanders. You have other people on this ship. All are scientists. You're a scientist. Every single personnel can man any spaceship, fly it. They're biologists and botanists and astrophysicists and celestial mechanics, quantum mechanics, antarctic drive specialists, interdimensional portal specialists, and so forth, genetic specialists, you name it. They're all in this ship. It is a research vessel. And then you find yourself in space coming out of this foot-wide oval secondary implant full of nonsense and garbage. The lifetime had no negative nature. There was no war. The wisdom you had by the time you were 10 years old, you had the equivalent PhD to one on Earth. You had the equivalent of 10 PhDs to a person on Earth. You were 10. Everyone has photographic memories. You have now. I know Elon Musk does. He came into this life with it, which has been a great boon for him. But most of us don't have access to that consciously. Not yet. But we are telepathic and we have photographic memories, and this needs to be awakened in us. And as you come out of this white oval sphere of oval light of nonsense, they simply look at it and they each send out one hue pulse, and it disintegrates in a violet vapor, becomes part of the white golden light around us. These two implants are gone, but the lifetime is awakened in you. Your name was Sean Fron. Sean, S-H-O-N F-R-O-N. Back then. And now they're moving you around to the right side, 2/3 out to the electromagnetic field. Remember, it's in the field where these negative subconscious things are, not inside the Atma you are. Tyrants never had technology to do that. They had the ability to program something into the electromagnetic field outside of the Atma, but they had no access to the Atma itself. As they bring you up to this third one, right inside the electromagnetic field, which is a streaming white golden light flowing out of the South Pole into the North Pole, all around you, of the Atma you are. And this physical appearing form is able to objectively experience what is being done to you, the Atma. Well, the energy field surrounding it. This time, they place their right and left palms up under your right and left palms, and they move you forward. In other words, you're moving yourself forward with their help and bringing your face inside this other secondary implant. You're walking on the ground of a beautiful planet. There's a blue, violet, radiant beach made of a mineral that's charged with the hue. The ocean has a lavender color glow a foot above it, surrounds this long series of islands. And you're on this golden luminous beach. There are domes, cities, very small. They're not like metropolises with towers and people stacked on top of each other. They're always research centers. And you're on a planet, Shrantanal 3 actually, which is on the same arm of the seventh spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy, nearer towards the big bulk of the sphere of stars, near the galactic core, not in it. And you are standing there in a blue-violet robe. You have a bald head. You're a type of a monk. But you also have a Galactic Alliance symbol on that robe. So this is like a weekend excursion for you. You are also a spiritual teacher. At the time, you worked with helping people understand the doorways that the mechanics of creation maintain between realities. So you're an interdimensional portal physicist, you might say. Another scientific role. And you're surrounded by some students, 12, male and female. They're wearing the same robe. You had bald heads, but you don't have to appear that way. You can have full set of hair, too. It's something you do to discipline not needing to care for hair when you're doing your contemplations and so forth. The sound around you is the hue. In the atmosphere, it's charged. The atmosphere has a glow to it. This is a big world. It's 5 times bigger than Earth. You can see out in the sun in the daytime 3 suns at different points on the horizon. One on the left-hand horizon coming, a big blue-white giant. One high overhead, a slightly smaller yellow sun. And one off to the right, which is a small red dwarf, an older sun. And you can see planets, 3 planets the size of Earth, 3 of them visible during the daytime. There are 2 more you can't see. And you are simply sending out the hue. Above you, you and this dozen other people on this sand. There is a big dome complex in the background, and these beautiful luminous blue-green jungle trees with flowers 4 feet wide hanging from them. There are birds flying overhead that have a scuff glow around them, Atmas hovering above them. You're seeing the Atma of yourself and others, And you're basically here like on a retreat, because there is a shaft of white golden light coming down into this the top of your head, and it's being shared with the students around you openly. So you're basically in touch with source energy in this life. And this one is 487,000 years ago. About 13,000 years after the end of a great war, the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds has been established. And then you see standing next to you on that beach, Satnam appear standing on the beach. So you knew him, or he knew you. And at first you don't see him. And then he appears, and you've heard of him. But in this life you had no relationship with him, you didn't know him. And the energy around you increases with his presence. That's all you know. So you nod gratefully, put your hand over your heart, and bow respectfully. And then he vanishes. When you come back out of this life, it's a beautiful, non-negative lifetime, highly intelligent. Can't even measure the IQ of such beings compared to someone on Earth. It's not even measurable. 10,000 would be accurate. And as you come out of it, your two palms up with their two palms under you. They ask you to send the hue into it. Now, first thing you notice is you look up. There's the Atma. You look up and see Satnam. You see that golden white hourglass vortex above him up in space. You see Turelian with his two thumbs up and closed fists producing a greater hue light passing through you. And then you send out the hue. And it comes from source through Turelian, and you hear the hue coming from you and from Shantiel and Tonatiel. And it goes inside this sphere, and then all of you just close your hands around it, and it just evaporates and is gone. The lifetime is awake, that point in that lifetime, a good one, covered up. But the negative implants are gone, and they cannot be reversed, and they can never be placed in you again. The hue flowing through you now prevents that. You are back in a circle with Shantiel and Tonatiel beside you. I think I'm to your right. At least I am now. And you're going to see Turelian's thumbs brighten, and then we're going to be moving as a group that has a oval, white, transparent, golden light around us like the hull of a spaceship, and we're moving all the way up, following Satnam as he enters this vortex, this white golden light hourglass-shaped vortex, and we disappear up into it. We come out the other side surrounded by a pale blue luminous light everywhere. The vortex below us, when you look down, you can see us all still in a circle around Turelian by Earth with the polar ice caps and barren moon. And then it disappears. So we are now in the void. There is no negative nature here. The sound is beyond human description. It sounds like millions of men and women's voices singing the hue on multiple levels with perfect vocal cords. And that's actually coming from a bird form, which we'll get into. Primary implant is like a big pyramid shape on the north and southern pole of the electromagnetic field that surrounds the Atma. We get into that another time, but understand that it is turned off for this journey. We cannot bring any negative nature with us into the void, and we can't bring it above the void further upward. So we're moving upward at tremendous speed in this light that there's no physical matter here. It's all energy. Many people think it's the realm of the Supreme Being, but it is not. Up ahead, you begin to see the speck of a white light that expands quickly as we approach it, and you're looking at a white diamond-like beach as far as you can see in both directions, slightly curving in on itself, which implies that this luminous beach is surrounding a massive circular landmass. This is a land called the Atma Plane, Satnam's realm, at the upper end of the void, and is the first reality above the void. No negative nature exists here. So Satnam is kind of our guide with Turelian and me to get to this point. When you're looking at this beach, you find your toes. Remember this body form that's perfect? You find your toes wiggling in this luminous diamond-like sands glowing a foot above the beach. The jungle trees behind you are just massive, but they're all transparent, running energy up and down the trunks and out the leaves. You reach down, you watch Satnam reach down. We're all in a line on this beach. Torellian is standing offshore in the void, up to his knees in what you would think is water, but it's not. So he just likes to kind of stand in things up to his knees offshore. That's how he is. And you pick up a handful of the sand because Satnam does it, and you pick up with your fingers one little round polished diamond crystal glowing. And you let go of it. It moves upward right into the white core of your being, the Atma you are, making it brighter. This sand, this gift, represents your awakening of awareness of your life lived above the void. There is no time and space in the void or higher. And you recognize right away that you originally came from the Atma plane to explore and run bodies in the lower worlds of time and space billions of years ago. And then Satnam levitates up over the trees. We follow him. We stop up above the trees. You can see in the distance a diagonal snow-covered blue mountain range, straight as an arrow. And you can see these birds coming out of the trees with long V-shaped split tails, about a foot long, like a blue jay, big blue eyes. Twin sets of bird wings like a dragonfly, hovering there like hummingbirds, male and female. Rainbow-collared bodies with millions of colors blended across the feathers. And above them, a much larger Atma hovering. And these are 4 times larger than us, twice as many teardrops. And they sting, they have vocal cords. These bird forms, these Atmas are running, begin to sing the hue. And then you realize it's going from each one of them, hundreds of them, and it's charging and maintaining what we call the void. Beings are doing this. And they're singing around us kind of like a greeting. And they go back into the trees. Some of them look like fruit trees or palm trees with fruit, and they're all glowing, transparent. And we move over the top of the jungle. And in the distance you can see a big palatial estate at the base of this mountain. It's made of transparent crystal-like materials. There's a big 2 pillars like blue stone lapis lazuli laced with gold holding up a 4-sided pyramid-shaped quartz-topped roof. And in the middle of it is a throne-type chair. I've never seen Satnam sit in it once. It's blue quartz. It's polished. There's a light coming down to it. It's a device. There's a shaft of light coming into it that's distributed into the Atma plane and then into the void through beings. Behind that, in a triangular opening, is a very large fountain, blue scalloped edges, 25 feet across. Big Christmas tree shaped blue-green light flowing down into it with a golden shaft. It's moving down into it and moving upward. And then to the left at the bottom below us, above the jungle, is a clearing with a 100-foot wide white stone-like floor. And there's a 15-foot wide white scalloped edge like alabaster, and a statue of Satnam standing on a blue disc. This is him with his 2 gold bracelets on his upper arms, bronze skin, gold eyes, bald, about 36, wearing his tunic dress from his waist to his ankles, bare-chested, very strong. And the big Atma, much larger than us, hovering above him, pointing to this statue of himself. There's a shaft of white golden light coming down into that statue. The hands are palms open facing down forward, flowing this luminous white golden light into this bowl, pouring over the outer edge of it like a sheer, beautiful, luminous sheet of light, dropping between a circular white stone flat marble seating bench. And up above it is this shaft of white golden light. It is a doorway. So we, as a group of beings, are suddenly inside this shaft of light and we're shot upward. And we're going up to what's called a plane, a special created parallel dimension between the top of Satnam's realm, the fifth realm, and the sixth realm. Understand there are many higher realities all the way up to the plane of Agam Parusha, a being that runs all the raw power of eternity, and up into the hue expansion ray, well, actually up into the ocean of sound and light, or what we call prime creator or source. And we won't go there now. We'll save that for another journey. But the energy coming down through this fountain comes from that source. And we are moving as a group, surrounding us with this golden white transparent light right up the shaft of this channel. When we come out the other side, up ahead you can see what look like tiny cobalt blue stars circling the donut shape around an opening. It's very narrow. We shot up through it, and in the distance you can see a huge floating circular landmass in a brilliant cobalt blue white atmosphere. The vortex below us closes. We are moving towards this massive floating circular landmass. It has a white diamond-like beach circling the circumference, brighter than Satnam's realm. There's a blue-green ocean wave constantly gently crashing on this beach that surrounds the outer circumference, and it continues to run around it to support it. We're moving towards this beach, and you find your toes wiggling in this sand. One of these particles moves up from the sand, goes into the white core of your being, and out to the green and blue layers, turning on certain faculties that are dormant. This is your awareness of life in the upper realities above the void. Then you look in the distance, there are 6 snow-covered bluestone mountain peaks way in the distance surrounding a valley, a circular valley. At the bottom of that valley is a blue-green donut-shaped luminous lake. There's a white marble island in the center of it, and a blue glass-like administration tower, like a pale blue transparent glass-like material rising way up to an oval administration center which has a fountain in it up to a minaret point. There's a shaft of white golden light coming down into this, filling the fountain. There's no statue of Satnam in it, and it's going down the shaft. It's in the center of the Hue Expansion Ray Academy where we are. We're going to the northwestern section. When you look at these base of these mountains, you can see horseshoe-shaped golden tunnels cut into the base, completely symmetrically surrounding all 6 mountains, and white stone-like roadways coming out of them, going straight as an arrow all the way to the Loomis Beach. There's just millions of acres. And each one of these roads is straight as an arrow. It looks like the spokes of the hub coming from a bicycle tire. And we're going down the one in the middle third quadrant, northwest. 2/3 of the way down the riddle road and turning right into a clearing. We're suddenly hovering around that clearing. And in this clearing, there is a 4-foot diameter clear quartz-like sphere with a cobalt blue star radiating in the center of it, hovering about a foot above a circular stone floor. Ambassador Trillian's hovering up in this shaft of light coming down in the star. We are a bunch of beings in a circle outside of him, and we're looking at what look like 12 weeping willow trees, very tall, with luminous broad spoon-shaped leaves, circling the outer circumference of this white stone floor. Standing above the top of them are what are called silent mentors, very rare to ever cross paths with them in billions of years. They have a being like a human standing above the tops of these trees, alternating male and female. Each one has a different colored robe of the spectrum of light, long hair to their shoulders, different colored hair, different skin colors, and a huge Atma hovering above them, 4 times larger than us, twice as many teardrop shapes. When you look in the face of these body forms they choose to show us, all you see is a white light. There's no facial features. And when you look into that white light, you can see levels upon levels upon levels of galaxies and building. They think like this. These are the beings who run the mechanics and maintain the multidimensional creation. They are called silent mentors. And here we are a circle of beings between Turelian on one side and master teachers like Ramu and Opalam and Etta and Din, even my little cat Starlight. Because when he passed away, I took him to the Atma plane, turned him loose there. He's evolved greatly. So his tail glows like Etta and Din, and he shows that. He's a dear friend, most evolved, wonderful being I ever met. And then you're looking at these silent mentors, and there's an energy coming down through the white core of their being. It's moving down through the face of these forms they show us, passing right through us into Turelian, up another shaft of light. And it's moving the other way through Turelian, back through these silent mentors. So we get to experience. The sound here is like the highest, purest note of a flute, an orchestra you can't describe on Earth. And then we are getting to experience rub shoulders with silent mentors, but only here, for now, above the void. And it's changing us. You might say that we are becoming prototypes of a new order of beings, a kind of a blend between a master teacher and beings that have unlimited freedom and power who run the mechanics of creation. So we're kind of a blend, becoming a blend. And this is important to run what we call the Hue expansion ray, a new energy moving through the omnipresent living power, which is designed to do one thing: retire the old failed experiment of good and evil and replace it with the Hue expansion ray, which imparts a wisdom as it passes through us, so that we are never going to be vulnerably trapped again or lost in the illusion that we're bodies. This is not reversible. And you find yourself suddenly back in space around Turelian. Shantil and Tontil are still beside you, keeping your subconscious stuff turned off. There's the planet Earth. And then you see the planet Earth change. Now you see Earth in the same place with no polar ice caps. There's a moon with oxygen atmosphere and little oceans and little rivers and little mountains and little dome cities, geometrically placed on its surface, turning on its axis as it orbits the Earth. You see the Earth, it has a huge continent centered over the equator from the left to the right hemisphere. No polar ice caps. On the other side of the planet, you can see right through it. There's another continent 2/3 its size. Down at the southern pole, about 1/3 of the way up in this big continent, is an upward curved, half-moon base-shaped, glowing emerald green beach. And inland in this jungle, there's a single snow-covered mountain. You can see it from space. And a single dome covering 3 golden-sided pyramids in the back third at the lower western plateau. The continent on the front is Lemuria, or Mu. It is not the Lemuria that sank when the poles flipped on Earth 100,000 years ago. I was there. This is a world in the 3rd higher parallel dimension of the physical universe. It is a safely protected place. There are no negative natures in the atmosphere. Few beings live here. They are Galactic Alliance personnel, silent mentors, Oceanans, people like Turelian's race, the Serays, and many others. Ramu has an abode in the Himalayan mountain range in the center of this continent in a city called Agamdes. It's like Shambhala, Shangri-La, but this is where he hangs his hat. So he's on Earth, but he's in the 3rd higher parallel dimension Earth, and he can move between them. You find yourself wiggling your toes in this emerald green glowing beach, curved half moon. Turelian's up to his knees in this blue-green luminous water. The ocean is calm. You can see a brown moss-covered path going inland between these tall jungle luminous trees to that white snow-covered single mountain. 2/3 of the way up it, you can see a waterfall cascading out of a cavern opening, dropping thousands of feet down a sheer cliff face. Up above it is an oval opening, which is a tunnel, man-made, and dome-shaped lights leading down inside it. This is from this 3rd higher parallel dimension. This mountain leads down through that mountain and comes out in the interior hollowed-out interior base, Galactic Alliance base, inside Mount Shasta in Northern California. It is a doorway between these parallel dimensions. That base was put there or built there in 1908. If it hadn't been there, Earth would have been destroyed in nuclear war long ago. So we will visit. There's a domed city down at the lower left plateau. 3 golden-sided, 4-sided quartz-capped pyramids in the back third. A semicircular mountain range with little waterfalls coming out of cavern openings. Blue-green water running down rivers into this oval blue-green luminous lake. And little white ivory domed dwellings all over the countryside with paths leading around the lake going to this research center. At the base of these 3 pyramids in a triangular position is a long oval ivory colored dome. On the beach, this emerald green sand runs up your legs into the top of your head, out the top of your smiling face, and into the white curve of your being, out to the green layer, turning on some of the green teardrops of higher faculties. Standing on the beach is a couple called from the Xenotramon 1 on the other side of the Milky Way galaxy. They are a race 10 feet tall, longer necks, longer fingers, longer torsos, silver hair like metal almost, longer necks, violet colored eyes, ivory colored skin, and they walk like swans. They're standing there, and this woman has her palms up, and there's a green light glowing around them, and you realize that this beach is being charged by this being. So the light we got from this beach is to help you remember your lives on all the planes below the void. The good ones, anyway. And you find yourself in space, suddenly. And there's the Earth you're familiar with the polar ice caps. Then you find yourself hovering near the ceiling with Chantiel and Tonatiel beside you. The white shaft of golden light from this experience is being brought back with you, moving down through the electromagnetic field surrounding your physical body, which does not have any more duplicates of those 3 secondary implants. They are gone. It's moving through you, hovering near the ceiling, and it's moving through the walls of where you live. It's going out into planet's Earth's atmosphere. It is connecting to 3 pyramids stationed on Earth now, turned on. They're massive. One is in the Atlantic, bottom of the ocean. One's in the Pacific. One is in a hollowed out interior of a mountain in the Himalayas. And they are passing an energy through you to them, which is projected to a bigger pyramid, hovering stationary between 2 stable asteroids, moving at high speed in the orbit of a planet, which is the asteroid belt, around the sun between Mars and Jupiter. That was a planet called Maldek. It was blown apart. So that's how the asteroid belt got there. It's a long time ago in solar system history. It's beamed from this pyramid all the way to the galactic core of the galaxy. That black hole isn't referred to that way anymore by more advanced scientists today. They know it's a shaft of powerful light going up and down the axis. This energy goes up that axis, goes all the way back through the U Expansionary Academy, back to source. It never stops moving, and it's moving through us for our benefit and for the benefit of others. So we're back now. When you're ready, open your eyes. A lot gets packed into that. A lot gets packed into that. And for you, more than is usually done, because we got into the higher worlds too. That's going to change you. You watch. You'll just know more, and you'll just understand more. Now, we have any questions? If you do,
Not really. It was very interesting. I was fully aware, and at the same time, my body was asleep, fully asleep.
that's okay. That's normal, especially at the beginning of these journeys. Look, when your body goes to sleep and you become unconscious, it's because you've identified with it that way your whole life. When you put the body to sleep, you expect to go unconscious with it, right? That's not normal. As of this meeting, it won't be the same for you. You'll always understand that you are doing something when you're out of your body. And you should be aware and bring it back here for the good of your life and for the good of all life on earth, because you are now part of the constructive thing we call disclosure. Can't get out of this. This is our responsibility anyway. So the hue begins to have a different relationship with you now, because it knows you want to go home, so it's providing the manifestation. First sound behind creation is more real than anything physical you'll ever know. The first power, the one living consciousness out there. And you can see it's lit up behind everything. It doesn't matter how real or unreal any of it seems. When you fall asleep, you will find out. When you play this journey back a second time, like a day or two from now, whenever you want, it'll be up on my YouTube channel with your permission. Is that
It's okay, yeah?
It's up.
Yes.
So it's nothing negative. It's all positive.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's up to you. Okay, I think that will be helpful. And you can just go right to my YouTube channel and play it whenever you want. Is that good?
Yes.
I can send you a copy of it too if you want. But it's on the YouTube channel. And you can get one if you want. But the point is, when you play it a second time, and I know you know what this means, do it with childlike wonder. No negative, just huge. Just don't let negatives come into it. And then have fun with it the second time you play it. Because, you play it, eat a candy bar, go to the store, go to the restaurant, turn it off, bring it on. You take notes, sit down and really enjoy it. You're going to find that when you play it back the second time, you understand all of it. And you're going to remember all of it, because you won't be in the journey with your body going to sleep. That's normal. Don't worry about that. I can tell you with certainty, you experienced all of it as an Atma. And
I do not worry. It's okay. Huh?
You will be more and more aware of it. It filters through you. You got to rub shoulders with silent mentors in one first journey. That's very rare. It's rare for any beings to ever cross paths with them, even the Galactic Alliance. But they can go on these journeys with us above the void and rub shoulders with them now. It's changed them. It's changed the Seres. That's why we're having this disclosure. This current administration of the United States, this open disclosure of truth, is the beginning of something quite extraordinary. Some beings are getting protected. They don't even know where it's coming from. So they're able to make decisions based on common sense to the best of their ability, not on fear. And that's what's happening now. That will have beneficial effects for all life and all countries. It just has to be balanced fairly. And it'll come out good for everyone. This is not being sponsored by the free will of people on earth. It is being done despite them, because they will not change on their own. We know that from people on earth. They won't do it. So I'm going to leave you with that. And if you have any other questions, let's ask them.
No, I have no questions. No.
When you're ready, we'll go on the primary implant review one. That takes place, and we didn't get time to visit it, takes place aboard the Emerald Star Cruiser. This guy, in the central section, in a huge spherical chamber, in a white leather-like chair, in a dodecahedron chamber. So we'll bring you there and sit you down in that chair. And then on the screens, when they turn on, you'll begin to see how you were killed and put in a body on this earth. The good part of it is you're safe. You're not going through it again, but it feels like you are. But it becomes a conscious memory, and then the primary implant really has no more power over you anymore. At some point, this technology will land on Earth and everybody can go through this. But right now, the technology to do this doesn't exist on the planet, and it cannot be removed in Earth's negative atmosphere. They're in conflict. So until Earth's atmosphere is positively charged, we have to go out and get enlightenment and bring it back to Earth. That's our responsibility. Well, I trust you had a great journey.
Thank you.
It was fun for me. And there's some things that always happen that are brand new I've never seen before. Like, I don't invade your space or consciousness or pry into your former lives, but there were three now that you had that were all good, hidden behind these nasty little buggers. So I
Okay.
will see you later. Write to me or let me know whenever you
Thank you.
want.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you.
Whenever you want any questions, please contact me. And we
Okay.
can get
Thank
on
you.
Zoom again. You don't have to pay for it all the time. We just get on Zoom.
It was wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank
You're
you.
very welcome. It's been my honor and my privilege too.